it was my way of turning pain into power. And I feel like it's time we start prioritizing that and caring more about ourselves. So when I moved back to Cebu, which wasn't necessarily my choice, life brought me here, I needed to create a space for myself, but also for other people I know are going through the same thing. People need to have access to spaces where they feel like they can come and not be intimidated, to try new things or to play sports, feel welcomed and feel encouraged. And that's how NotJustFriends started or began. You come as a stranger, but honestly you leave as a friend, not just a friend, part of the family. So I wanted to create something that anyone could, one, grab and go because it's accessible. We are in the generation of go, 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 right? People don't have time anymore to make a shake.
Mayong adlaw mga ka-wellness, I'm Mara, your host, and welcome to BIDA Talks. Today's guest is a wellness advocate and a community builder. He is the founder of NotJustFriends, a growing wellness community here in Cebu, and is also a proud owner of his business, NotJustJuice. Ladies and gentlemen, he is not just your typical guy. Please welcome to BIDA Talks, Macauly Lofgren. Hi, Matt. Sit down. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. It's so nice to see you. And of course, you are here. Everyone, he is here for a very, very special reason. And of course, for all of us who are into the active lifestyle, wanting to get better and healthy every single day, it is a decision that we make every single day. So if I may ask you, Mac, what made you realize that wellness was more than just a personal choice? It had to be a movement.
Oh, that's a good question right off the bat. Yeah. You know, there was actually a study published by Philippine Star. It was done by Gallup that found that 50% of Filipino workers aged 15 and above were experiencing daily stress. A survey done by Deloitte Global also found that 48% of millennial and 68% of Gen Z workers were experiencing anxiety most of the time. On a personal note, last year I went through probably the most difficult time of my life. I lost my mom. I was heavily strained and overstressed at work. I had no stability. And that's when my perspective on health and wellness changed, because it became less about the superficial and it became more about my mental health. And I saw what it did for me. I know what positive it could bring to anyone. And it was my way of turning pain into power. Yeah. And I feel like it's time we start prioritizing that and caring more about ourselves.
I love that. Pain into power. Such powerful words, Mac. And of course, like you said right off the bat, I know we are going to learn so much from you today. But of course, we want to know a little bit about you. You are from Cebu.
Yes.
You went to Manila for college and then to Australia, and then now you're here in Cebu. What made you go to all these different places, these different countries? How did that come to be?
Well, I grew up in Cebu. I moved to Manila for university. I studied there, and then I moved to Australia for work. Yeah.
Just for work?
Just for work.
Okay. How long were you in Australia?
For 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
4 years.
Quite a while.
Wow. And when you came to Cebu, you've been known to have created NotJustFriends.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about this community?
So when I moved back to Cebu, which wasn't necessarily my choice, life brought me here. I was struggling at the time, especially with my mental health, because back in Australia, it was very easy for me to access spaces where I could play social sports. I had a lot of avenues for me to run, be active. So when I moved back to Cebu, I felt this hindrance because it was very hard for me to find a group or to insert myself in an organization that was already doing those sorts of things. And so I needed to create a space for myself, but also for other people I know are going through the same thing. You know, people need to have access to spaces where they feel like they can come and not be intimidated, to try new things or to play sports, feel welcomed and feel encouraged. And that's how NotJustFriends started or began.
I love that because for most of us, especially those who don't necessarily have friends who are that active, we look for it online, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and it's so hard to actually reach out. But for NotJustFriends though, considering there are also a lot more other wellness communities out there, what makes NotJustFriends different?
Well, one thing that really makes us different is we are really a community for all. We're open. It's not just a friend group, on a WhatsApp or like a messenger chat inviting similar friends to join us. Yeah. We have a website, we have social media. If you want to join an event, you just book a ticket and you come as a stranger, but honestly you leave as a friend, not just a friend, part of the family.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we don't just focus on one thing. So you would have a running group, you would have a badminton group, but we are all around. So we do a regular run club, but we also have social volleyball, we have social badminton, social pickleball. So there are lots of things that people can come and try and see what they enjoy.
Awesome. How many people have been, or is this community, have there been like a number of people that keep coming back in? Yeah.
Everyone loves to come back. Yeah. So, which is great because I think it reassures us that what we're doing is, or we're going down the right path, right? And even though there are people who come back, there's always someone new who joins us. So it's great. We're a continuously growing family.
Awesome. And speaking of the active lifestyle, I know you have gone through your dark phases before with your anxiety, and now creating this community, how has this helped you with your mental and emotional wellness?
Well, it's helped me in ways I probably couldn't even describe, and I would say imagine you were spending 3 hours on a volleyball court or you're spending an hour running. All of your anxiety, all of your stress, for a brief moment, it goes away, right? And I've heard this from other people who come and join our community that they look forward to our events every week because for them, this is their outlet, right? We all go through so many things in our lives that sometimes it's hard to talk about, it's hard to think about. And so for a brief moment, if you can escape those problems, right? If you can score a point in volleyball or finish a 5 kilometer, that sense of accomplishment is something that it reduces your stress, anxiety, right? It encourages you. It makes you feel like you've overcome something. Yeah. So, and all around, it's better for your mental health.
I love that. It's actually a very refreshing perspective. And I see so much of the passion in the things that you do, not just for yourself, but for this community that you have created. And of course, Mac here is a multifaceted man because we are not just talking about NotJustFriends. We also have NotJustJuice. Let's switch things up a little here for a very, very special product that we have right in front of you guys. Tell us more about NotJustJuice.
So health and wellness, it goes beyond just being active and living an active lifestyle. It's also about what you put in your body. It's about the products that you use, right? It's a holistic approach. So NotJustJuice happened because, we had this community and now we were active, but it's so hard to access really good and health products in the Philippines. It's either they're expensive or you have to go to specific places to acquire them. So when I came back to the Philippines, I experienced difficulty in consuming my protein because the only readily available options are what's commonly known as, whey powder. So I wanted to create something that anyone could, grab and go because it's accessible. We are in the generation of go, right? People don't have time anymore to make a shake or clean their shakers once they're done making the shake. So here is a product that you can easily pick up, consume. There is no added sugars. It's simply good for you. No BS.
Is this something that you take maybe when you wake up, after a workout?
The great thing about it is when we developed the product, we wanted it to be a health product, but we also wanted to cater to the wider market. Filipinos in general, we like the sweet stuff.
Yeah.
So we wanted to create a product that didn't just taste healthy, it tasted good, but was really good for you. So you can have it for breakfast, you can have it pre-workout because it has carbs, you can have it post-workout for recovery. It's very versatile.
It's actually really cute as well. Did you actually figure out or make all of these, the graphics, how it looks like, how it's supposed to be built in a bottle or
I
a
did
can?
I did it myself.
Everything. Wow. Every single thing.
Yeah.
Amazing. How's the response been so far?
Look, it's been really great, and I think it's because more and more people are going into that health space. I think we're taking our health more seriously, and there is that demand. There is this trend shift from maybe the nightlife scene into the more health and wellness scene, and so products that people can spend on that's better for them, people are prioritizing now. So as long as it's accessible, you know, people will get it.
Well, what's next for NotJustJuice though? Is this the only product that you have? Do you have more products coming soon? Are you launching anything else?
Well, our entire goal for NotJust is really to bridge this gap between high quality products and emerging communities. So not just with our juice, but also with our community, NotJustFriends. We have other things in the pipeline that are coming up very soon. So we have other products as well as other things to engage people in wellness.
Awesome. And I'm sure people are very, very curious and want to know, what sports or wellness activities are you into? Personally?
Myself?
Yes.
I grew up playing multiple sports. Badminton was probably my main sport in high school. I played polo actually for a few years. That's how I ended up in Australia. Golf as well. I can play tennis, volleyball, run, the gym. Yeah.
Awesome. And of course, for all of you guys who are very much interested, please tell them, where can we reach NotJustFriends and NotJustJuice?
So if you're looking to expand your social circle, if you are looking to try something new, if you are looking for an environment that will encourage you, accept you, where you don't feel intimidated, to learn something new, to improve your healthy lifestyle, you can reach out to us on our Instagram page, which is at NotJust.Friends, or via our website, www.not-just.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Mac. And of course, you also mentioned the anxiety and everything encapsulated, the things that you experienced in the previous years that led you to where you are today.
Yes.
And I'm very thankful that I got to actually speak to you, and you showed us how passion actually created this NotJustFriends, NotJustJuice. So for those of us, or for those watching who are struggling with anxiety, for those struggling with overwhelm and the daily stresses of life, what would you tell them?
I would say your mental health should be your priority. If you are operating at 60%, you are never going to give your 100% in anything that you do. You can't care for others if you don't care for yourself, right? It's not selfish. It's just meaning put yourself first so that you can put others or treat others better. You know, when you feel good, you make other people feel good, right? And that's what the world needs. We need more positivity. We need more compassion, more empathy. And that starts with you being empathetic to yourself.
Awesome. Passion exemplified by the one and only Macauly Lofgren. Because after all, when we find our passion, we live out our purpose. And when we live out our purpose, we make progress. Of course, Mac, this time we are going to ask you some rapid fire questions. I'm sure a lot of people are very, very curious about who Mac is. So question number one, are you a morning person or a night owl?
Ooh, I am a morning person through and through.
Wow, and you don't party at all? You don't go?
You know, once in a
out
while,
late?
I do like to party, but right now in my stage of life, my health and wellness is my priority.
Awesome. What time do you normally wake up?
5:30 a.m.
And then you like work out right then and there?
Yes, I go straight to the gym. I have my scoop of pre-workout. I head to the gym and I work out for about an hour 15, and then I'm straight into work.
Wow, that's every single day.
That's every single day. Maybe one day a week I might slack off a bit, but I do try and go every day. I'm on a mission to actually hit 365 days at the gym this year.
Wow, like I mentioned, wellness is not just a personal choice, it's a movement you have to make every single day. Awesome. And one wellness habit you swear by?
One wellness habit I swear by. Wake up in the morning. There's so much you can get done if you start your day already accomplishing the things that you should accomplish, right? It's a scientific fact that when you exercise, you release your happy hormones, your endorphins, you are more cognitive, you are more encouraged to accomplish things in your day. And so if you even start off with a 30-minute walk every day, you're already setting yourself up for success.
I love that. And when you say wake up in the morning, make sure you don't keep on hitting The snooze
I
button.
mean, I hit the
Multiple
snooze.
times.
I hit the snooze button multiple times, but eventually I get up.
Okay, that's nice. For as long as you get up, yeah, and you make things work. But another question would be smoothie or fresh juice?
Ooh, that's a good question. Definitely fresh juice.
Is it because it's healthier? Do you think it's healthier or have more benefits?
Honestly, for me, I feel smoothies are thicker, they're heavier. You know, as someone who's always on the go, I'm very active. I like to quickly go through things. A juice for me, it's easier to consume, it's easier to digest, and it feels fresher.
Awesome. Speaking of smoothies and juices, are you very particular about the things that you eat?
I used to be, and I definitely go through phases where I calorie count, but I've also come to realize that life should be enjoyed, you know, to a certain extent. And so I'm happy to have a donut here and there. I just generally think about consuming the better choices overall.
Awesome. Still a personal choice.
Yeah.
So everything is a decision you make. What's your go-to self-care ritual?
Ooh, my go-to self-care ritual. I would definitely say it would be, I love to do yoga, as a form of meditation as well. So sometimes after I do a workout at the gym, I will do a nice quick 20-minute session doing deep stretches, doing yoga poses. I feel like, especially someone who's very active, you can get really tight muscles, and the feeling of just relieving your stress from your muscles that are super tense is great. You feel so relaxed. Again, it's also good for your mental well-being.
Awesome. And I'm just really curious, for someone who's always active, if there's a day that you don't put any kind of movement to it, like no workouts, no anything, what do you usually do?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't really have many of those days, but if there is a day where I don't really do anything active, you would probably find me in the garden.
Wow.
Yes.
Like planting.
Like gardening, pulling weeds, planting.
Wow. Or you're also a plantito.
I am not really, because I somehow kill all the plants I plant, but I still try.
Have you been into gardening since, what is it, has this been because of the pandemic, or have you ever?
It was supplemental, really. I think just moving back to Cebu, we left our garden very untendered. So I'm just trying to bring it back to life, like I'm bringing myself back to life.
Awesome. It's another wellness thing as well. I mean, it's not, more than just movement. It's really about caring for nature, for the things that basically give us life every single day. I love that. What's the biggest wellness myth you want to debunk?
Ooh, that's a really tough question. What is the biggest wellness myth you'd like to debunk? Maybe that it's difficult. Or actually, maybe that it's easy. Because, you know, some people, when they look at people being active, they're like, they have all the time in the world to do it, right? They're like, they don't have responsibilities or whatnot, because he always runs so often, right? But you find that if you actually ask a person who runs on the regular, if they have the time to do it, they will almost always respond, I make time for it, right? Because doing something as a routine, as a habit, like you said, it's a choice, and people choose to prioritize that aspect in their life. So it's not easy, and it will never be easy, but it does get easier, and then you face new challenges. But the goal is to keep on going and overcoming those challenges. Yeah.
I love that. And of course, you mentioned, you know, a lot of people think it's a privilege, because when you try to be active, or say you get into kind of sports or maybe even running, you invest a lot of your time, your money, and your effort. A lot of people think you have to have money, you have to have good finances just to be able to do that. But really, it's not the privilege of being able to have money. The privilege we have here is having a body to actually move. So at the end of the day, it's not about the money. It's not about not having the time. It's really being able to make good use of the healthy life or the healthy body that we have. So, perfectly exemplified by Mac right here.
I just want to quickly add on to that. Health it's definitely not a privilege. It should really be a right to people. And that right also has to come from being able to access those spaces, right? It doesn't have to, you don't have to spend a lot of money to be active. You can run, although we don't have a lot of great spaces to run. There are some places you can run, but there are always alternatives that you can do, right? You can work out at home. You can do a quick HIIT workout on YouTube, or do a little Zumba, in your living room. So
Yeah.
there are lots of options. You just have to make the choice for that option.
That's true. And when we were able to do it during the pandemic, why not this time when everything's
Exactly.
already open, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So another question would be one thing people should stop doing for their health.
I would say it's going on really extreme fad diets, right? Or going on a very intense fast. Because the thing about fad diets, right, is it's a fad. It comes and it goes. So I think what's most important is you stick to the science.
Yeah.
You do your research before you start something new, and just be consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I remember during the pandemic, I mean, there was the YouTube hit girlies you were following. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Chloe Ting.
Yes. Yes.
I followed her because I really wanted to lose weight. I only lasted for 1 week. So it's nice that you mentioned you really have to do your research. You
Yes.
have to know what your body needs. You have to be self-aware. That way you don't just follow the trend because you're only gonna last for a week, I tell you. What's your favorite healthy snack?
My favorite healthy snack. You mean besides NotJustJuice?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
I would say, that's also another good question. Healthy snack, maybe egg. Because it's easy to make
Yeah.
and it's very versatile. You can mix it maybe with some Japanese mayo, which makes it less healthy, but more yummy. I would say eggs.
Eggs. Yeah, and easiest to find as well. Ooh. Next question. Yoga or strength training?
Wow. Yoga for the soul, but strength training for your mind. Yeah.
Love that.
It takes a certain dedication and commitment to lift weights
Yeah.
and to do it consistently.
Yeah.
And also to push yourself further than you were the last week. Same thing with yoga. The more you do it, the more poses you want to learn. You want to do a deeper stretch. So they're both equal in my book. I definitely do strength training a bit more or a lot more. So maybe I'll say strength training for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's in your wellness toolkit, if you have one, or anything that you have tangible maybe?
Well, this isn't a sponsored ad, but one thing I do carry around ever since I discovered it is an Omega menthol spray for after my runs for my calves.
Wow.
Yes, that's in my toolkit. I also like to bring, we have a first aid kit as well with our community in case anything happens. So those are basically my 2 essentials.
Awesome. I love that. And of course, one word to describe your wellness philosophy.
Now, this has been said before, but I do like to re-say it again. 1% better every day. And as long as you try, you will never fail. So yeah.
As long as you try, you will never fail. I love that. What's your favorite way to de-stress after a long day?
My favorite way to de-stress after a long day would be to work out.
I cannot imagine how you start your day with a workout and then de-stress with a workout. Why? May I know?
Well, have you ever experienced runner's high?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really what it is. I think especially starting this business and as busy as we can get with the community, whether it's a run or actually every night, whether it's a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, and we're playing different sports. So it's volleyball, pickleball, badminton. It's something about the adrenaline rush you get, obviously, right? And when you're playing team sports or when you're joining social sports, there have been scientific studies that just show that, you build connections, it builds better habits, and you foster this sense of belonging on top of, engaging your body, and improving yourself in ways that you wouldn't normally improve on. And that's through sports.
I love that. Wow. Working out. I wish I had all your energy. If you could only drink one juice blend forever, what would it be? I feel like I already know the answer.
If I could drink one juice blend, I would probably start off by drinking a healthy blend of lemon, cucumber, and pineapple because it has electrolytes, it has your vitamin C's, and you would also find it in NotJustJuice.
Of course. I really cannot wait to try it, NotJustJuice. And if I may ask though, just real quick, how would you describe NotJustJuice in one word to someone who hasn't tried it before and you'd like them to taste it for the very first time?
I would say, maybe not the sexiest word, but maybe fuel. Because it's fuel for your glow, your recovery, your strength. So it's fuel, power.
Awesome. Hashtag fuel. I love that. Solo workout or group workout?
When I'm in the gym, I really do like to focus on, and might not be so healthy, but I do like to focus on hitting new PRs and pushing myself like further. So I do find that when I work out with like friends, it does take my focus away from it. But that being said, recently I've been training with friends and helping them with their form and things. And it's also given me a different perspective because I feel like if you are also with someone else, you're pushing each other to do better.
Yeah.
So it's a give and take really. So sometimes it's good to be alone, but sometimes it's good to spread that joy and spread that knowledge and grow with others.
Yeah.
Same thing with sports.
Awesome. Basically being able to foster a community where everyone's welcome, regardless of your age, your background. I love that. We're down to our last two rapid fire questions here, Mac. What's the biggest challenge in maintaining a wellness lifestyle?
The biggest challenge would be external influences.
I need you to cite some samples of these external influences.
Because there's a lot of temptation to, let's say, eat fast food or don't wake up in the morning because you're tired from the night before or you're invited on a night out. And so you already know you're not going to wake up at 6 a.m. because you're probably going to be hungover.
Yeah.
So it's definitely temptation and outside influence. But, you know, if you really decide to prioritize yourself and you really decide to put your health on top of everything else, then I think you can make the right choice. But still have fun. Like sometimes fun is good.
Sometimes fun is good, but in moderation.
Correct.
Yeah. Last one. What's one small change that makes a big impact on health?
One small change would be just make small changes. You know, because every small change that you do, it might seem like it's nothing, but it's actually the increments of those changes that lead to the biggest things, right? When people ask me, how do I wake up early because I just can't? I would say the number one thing you have to do is start slow, right? If you wake up at 8 a.m., don't try and set your alarm for 6 because it's not going to happen. Your body is not accustomed to it. You have to train your body like you would at the gym. So set your alarm clock for 7:55 and the next day 7:50 and so on and so forth until you reach 6 and until your body fully adjusts. And there you go. You've just become a morning person.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you so much. Those were 15 rapid fire questions, ladies and gentlemen. But if I may ask, Mac, for NotJustFriends, what does the community need right now? Or how else can we, help support you for NotJustFriends?
I would say just come down, join us, experience it for yourself. And if you join us and you enjoy it and you do your own thing, if we can just inspire you to make a little change in your life, to be more active, to maybe take your wellness a bit more seriously, then we already win. So just come, join us, experience NotJustFriends, and hopefully we change your life for the better, maybe,
Awesome. Mac Lofgren here, ladies and gentlemen, perfectly exemplifies passion turning into purpose. Please do not forget passion turning into purpose, and you put that to life during the IPI Run 2025 at the SM Seaside City, Cebu. That's May 25, 2025. Registration ends on May 1st, 2025. This has been your BIDA host, Mara. Do not forget to like all of our social media pages on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Till next time, this is BIDA Talks.
Yeah.